Hey everyone, welcome back to Bible Verse Breakdown. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 6, which reads, "Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober." So, I think we are all aware that Paul was not talking about physical sleep in this verse. But an important element or aspect of physical sleep that we can use to understand spiritual sleep is that when we're physically asleep, we're not aware of what is going on in our environment, what physical human beings are saying or doing. Spiritual sleep is about not being aware of what spirits are doing, how prophecies are fulfilling, how God Almighty influences what goes on in the world. We are tuned out. We're not aware of how all those things work. If you read Luke chapter 17 verses 26 to 30, you can see that during the days of Noah and the days of Lot, God Almighty was going to judge those people, and he eventually did. And throughout that period, the people living around Noah and Lot had no idea of what was going on. Life was just normal. As Christ said, they built, they ate, they sold stuff, they bought stuff. Life just went on, but they didn't know what was going on. And if you read Luke chapter 11 verse 31 and chapter 12 verse 56, you can see that even during Christ's time, people were unaware that the Son of God was in their midst. Christ said that a greater than Solomon is here, and you have no idea. And if you read chapter 19 of the same book, verse 42, he then lamented about Jerusalem's ignorance and how that was eventually going to lead to their doom. He said, "If thou hast known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes." And he went on to describe how they would be destroyed in verses 43 and 44. So that is what it means to be spiritually asleep. Now, it's related to our time in particular because in fulfillment of verses like Matthew chapter 24 verses 7 and 8, we are in the last days. You can pretty much see that in the past 100 years there have been so many significant changes to the political sectors, how governments are organized, how democracy has certainly increased across the world, or how the world has generally become more free, how social norms have changed significantly, technology has advanced significantly, and so on and so forth. So the fact that those changes are happening at such a fast rate and globally show that Christ indeed has returned, because he said in Matthew chapter 25 verses 31 and 32 that the whole world would be gathered before him, which things like the internet and global supply chains and other things do, and the world is now beginning to work as one. Now, the reason why that is important is because since we're in the last days and Christ has now come, there are things he is doing as king, if you read Isaiah chapter 32 verse 1. And Paul was saying that rather than sleeping, that is being unaware of what is going on, we should be watching. We should be sober. To watch spiritually is to study the scriptures to understand the signs of the times. Because as Paul said in Ephesians chapter 1 verse 18, we gain eyes of understanding so that we can, it's as if we can see what invisible people are doing. When we read the news, when we watch television, we can extract the spiritual meaning from them. We can see how the spirits are involved in the world's events that are playing out today. And then to be sober is, based on that knowledge we've gained, we become calm. We're not distracted by, all the things that are happening in the entertainment industries and all that stuff. We're kind of focused on the direction that the spirits want to take the world to. And we're constantly monitoring how we are fitting into that, whether we need to make adjustments, whether we need to cut out some distractions, whether we need to continue doing certain things, all so that we can remain in line with what Jesus Christ is doing in our time. If you read Luke chapter 21 verses 34 to 36, Jesus Christ advised that we shouldn't be distracted by all the cares of this life that are going on, the housing markets, the stock markets, and all the things that are going on, the football clubs and all those things, right? We should have an idea of the big picture that the spirits are trying to show to us so that we don't get distracted. He said, "And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell upon the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man." And that is where I'm going to stop. I'm breaking down 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 6, which once again reads, "Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober." If you have enjoyed this video and liked the way I broke down this verse, then I'd appreciate if you click the subscribe button and the like button. And if you have any questions about what I said, you can put them in the comment section below and we'll address them. Have a good day, and God bless you.